Hello and welcome to the first edition of LSTV's Essential News Programme for 2012-13. I'm Andy Seddon.
And I'm Olivia Layden.
And we have lots to report on during today's programme. First up, a report on Boddington and the closure from Christmas this year.
Leeds University has dropped in the World University Rankings.
The Carnage event has been condemned by the University and the City of Leeds.
Leeds Plus Fair helps students find future careers and opportunities.
And I took a trip to Dewsbury to find out about Miss Yorkshire 2012.
And finally, we had a chat with two of the exec about their positions in the union this year.
First though, Boddington Halls are closing down in 2013. The University of Leeds has put the site on the market and planning permission for 157 houses has been outlined.
Past and present residents at Boddington Hall had varying opinions about the closure of the halls, as Grace found out.
Previously home to over 1,100 students, both catered and self-catered. But it's currently being used to accommodate international students on their semesters abroad.
I think it's very convenient here, and for all the very brilliant facilities, I enjoy staying here.
Boddington Hall was equipped with an array of facilities, including football pitches, computer clusters, its own shop, and even its own bar equipped with Sky TV. But these fantastic facilities may have been just to compensate for the 3-mile distance from the university campus. I think it's fair to say that many of the students have cursed the early mornings and long bus journeys to and from the campus. But the question today is, will the students of Boddington Hall miss this place?
There were a lot of great memories that I had there last year, and it's all kind of gone. I can't go back there and relive them, as it were, but it's a bit of a sad moment to see that big a place and that much of a party atmosphere just disappear off the map.
So I was redeployed from Tetley Hall to here. I wasn't so sure at the first, but over time I've grown to enjoy working here, and I was so sad to see it go.
And it would appear the distance was a contributing factor for the University Council to sell the halls, which were in great need of refurbishment, leading to the construction of Central Village, which opened to the students last month.
And of course, we'll keep you updated on the progress of Boddington Hall as the semester goes on. Meanwhile, the Carnage Bar Crawl took place in Leeds this week.
Injury and violence has raised some questions about the legitimacy of the event, as Jessica and Jules found out.
Despite media controversy and student protest, the controversial Carnage Bar Crawl went ahead on Sunday in Leeds City Centre. The morning after Carnage, we met up with first-year Leeds University student Melissa to find out her experience of the event.
Carnage was pretty good. Everyone was just really, really drunk, and everything was crazy. Everyone was just getting off of each other. I ended up losing a tooth, if you can see it there. And then when I lost my tooth, I just started drinking more so I could forget that I lost my tooth.
Remember how you lost your tooth?
I was just dancing, and me and my friend were dancing, and then like her head just banged into mine, and then my tooth just popped out. It's just a bit of fun, innit? It's pimps and hoes, you know. It's not like something that's crazily bad. But on the back of our t-shirts, there was like a tick list. And one of the things that you had to get ticked off was to pimp off your friend for £1. Another one was to get off with 5 guys. Got that ticked. Loads of different stuff that pimps and hoes would do. In McDonald's, I tried to stand on a table, and then the security guard like dragged me off, and then I started calling him a prick. Don't know how I got home. Just got too drunk.
Others, however, are unhappy with events like these, in particular the theme of pimps and hoes. We spoke to Katie Siddle, the welfare officer at Leeds University Union, about her opinion on the event.
The issue with the Pimps and Hoes theme is that it's glamorising the sex trade, and I think it's irresponsible that they've chosen this theme, because people across the world lose their lives to the sex industry, and to use a theme like this is showing disregard and lack of respect for people who've lost their lives to the sex trade. Whatever you wear, you shouldn't be subjected to violence, but the separate issue is objectifying women. I do really worry about the image it's promoting, and I think Carnage are really clever about the way they promote themselves. Because on their website, there's nothing about, they don't mention anything to do with drinking excessively, but all the photos and the way that their logo and everything, that says everything that needs to be said. People drink irresponsibly in the events, and although there are people who steward the events, I've seen pictures of the people who steward the events, and they seem to be drinking along with everyone else. I've been a student myself. It's nice to go out with your friends, and I want students to have a really good time, but it's just about Carnage promoting the right image, I think, and being safe for students.
As well as concerns about Carnage's events specifically, student drinking culture often draws heavy criticism from the emergency services. We spoke to PC Matt Guy, a West Yorkshire police officer attached to the University of Leeds, about student safety and how things can go wrong.
In regards to the police and students around issues around alcohol, students have always drunk. I think they always will drink. Students are now going out, up to 5-6 nights a week. That linked with a kind of a culture of binge drinking, where you don't just go out and get drunk. You go out and drink until you can't drink anymore. I think that has led to a bit more of an increase in student safety issues. With that comes the police having to turn up, assist students, make sure they're safe, get them back home or get them into ambulances where they have the horrible experience of having their stomach pumped to hospital, which nobody wants to have, and it's not a good way of ending your night. The sad thing from a police officer point of view is that you end up dealing with students who've got themselves into such a state and whose friends aren't looking after them, that they can't take care of themselves and they can't get themselves home. We deal with those students when we could actually be going off and kind of dealing with other incidents that of note that we're getting through as emergency calls. We had officers just last night have to deal with one student who was that drunk and was laid sprawled out in front of a halls of residence that we had to call an ambulance crew for her and get her into an ambulance and off to the LGI. It's not good for that student. She's putting herself at risk, and also she is tying up resources. However, at the end of all of that, it is our job to make sure that people are safe and well, and if we need to do it, we will, but having the students help us out a little bit more, we would really appreciate. I think what a lot of students don't realise is they sign a contract when they come to university, and if they're breaking that contract by being loud and noisy at unsociable hours of the night, you may get an unwanted letter from the university, and eventually that might result in an unwanted visit by myself. Not that I like to think of myself as unwanted, but yeah, I could be coming round to your house and potentially you could be putting your university place at risk if antisocial behaviour kind of increases like that, and that's what it is. Bit of respect for everyone, that's all I'd ask. Use your common sense when you're going out. You want to have a good night out. A good night out for me, when I used to be going out drinking before I got married, and now I'm not allowed to go out anymore, used to be going out at the end of the night. I'd have had a good drink and I've had a good dance. Hopefully I'd have got some phone numbers maybe. That's my night out. That's how I would think that most people want to spend the night out. It's not left in the LGI, not in the police cell, not sprawled at the bottom of some steps with hopefully your friends still looking after you, or even worse, somebody you don't know trying to take you off somewhere.
Police aren't the only one who intervene when a night out takes a turn for the worst. The ambulance service also receive a staggering number of 999 calls with regards to alcohol issues. We spoke to Gareth Sharkey from West Yorkshire Ambulance Service.
I'm Clinical Supervisor, Yorkshire Ambulance Service. On a weekend, a lot of the jobs that we go to are related to alcohol and are related to students, in particular younger first-year students, first time away from home. We get a lot of calls for us where people have just had a bit too much to drink, they just need picking up off the street and taking home. We do have violence caused by alcohol. Accidents, obviously alcohol impairs judgment. People climb trees, do very silly things, and obviously we're called out to actual traumatic jobs caused through alcohol. Everybody likes to have a drink, everyone likes to go out and enjoy themselves. The biggest piece of advice would be not to drink that much. But if that's not going to happen, it's to make sure you're with a group of people that you know, that you're comfortable with, and that you respect them, they respect you. A lot of the comments we get, it's all right, they'll take you home, that's what you're here for. Little comments like that, it's frustrating for the members of staff who maybe have just been out to quite a serious job, and the next job they go to is a student who might be intoxicated, particularly their friends are being quite obnoxious and say, it's all right, they'll take you home. That puts a strain on it, not only on the ambulance service, but on the attitudes and the perception of the student population as a whole.
My name's Nick Dolby. I work for the ambulance service based at Leeds Station. I'm actually a student paramedic at the minute, so I've been studying for 2 years at university, so I'm currently just awaiting to qualify as a paramedic. The amount of calls which are due to alcohol has increased over the last couple of years, certainly. I've only worked operational on the road for 4 years, and in that time I've seen a steady increase in the amount of alcohol-related calls. But it's becoming more and more of a problem in Leeds City Centre every night because of student nights, for example, when they do promotions for drinking. But I think what's also important to remember is that these student nights are community nights, and that it is really for students to be able to make friends or go out with their friends when they're in a safe environment. And I think it's important to remember that the best idea is to make sure that you've got means and ways of getting home and to know your limits. Quite often we'll find groups of people going on nights out who are fully responsible for each other, and they'll make sure each other get home. But there's a certain point where people are less responsible for their friends, maybe due to increased intoxication.
Both the police and ambulance service have expressed concerns about student drinking habits and safety, but both agree that there are sensible precautions students can take to ensure they have fun and stay safe. Carnage were unable to respond to our request for a statement before broadcast. However, in previous statements they've stressed the importance of student safety during their events and denied claims that they encourage irresponsible drinking or engage in sexist themes.
Now just a quick summary of an event that happened yesterday in Leeds University Union. Leeds Plus took place in the Riley Smith Hall and aimed to inform students about careers, volunteering and giving it a go in any sector. The event was a unique one and hosted by JobLink as a one-off. There's more news around your union and university on the way, but first, as this is our introductory edition of The Essential, we thought it important for you to get to know your exec who work in Leeds University Union.
So for the next couple of weeks we'll be chatting to members of the exec. This week we talked to Katie and Charlie as Sophie and Shannon report.
Hi, I'm just outside the student exec office ready to interview Charlie.
My role is the Equality and Diversity Officer.
What made you interested in becoming a student exec?
Well, it was about 1.5 years ago when I first stood for the role for the first year. And I was just really interested in working with students, but working full time, to make a change on some of the key areas that I thought could really be different about the student experience at Leeds. And I just thought the union would be a fantastic place to work. I've really enjoyed working in student groups in my final year, and just wanted to give it a go. Black History Month, so I've been working with societies on their events for that. It's also on individual students when issues or cases come up across the university. It also includes kind of lobbying the university and working on whatever they're working on, and just bringing the student voice into that. So the moment they're working on the quality strategy, and it's my job to talk to students and make sure that it reflects what students are experiencing. So it's really varied.
And what would you say is the best way for students to contact you?
The best way is probably just to pop in if you're on campus, or to shoot me an email. I have Twitter, but I'm not the most active Twitterer. I have my weeks, but really the most consistent way is just giving me a call as well. My number's on the website. Just drop me a line, say hi.
Thank you very much for the interview.
You're welcome. Thanks.
I'm just outside the student exec office, ready to interview Katie, the welfare officer.
I describe it as a group of 6 former students, some of them are still students, who represent the students and in lots of different areas, and especially to the university, and sort of are there to improve services and other things for students, and generally like university life.
How would you describe your role as the welfare officer?
I always say that it's safety, happiness and health. So I'm there to try and get better services for students, and also to make sure that their voice is being heard, especially to the university, and to help them to run campaigns about mental health or about safety, and also to help them if individually they're having difficulties. I don't counsel students, but I can point them in the right direction to the services that are available to them.
And how can they help?
All the time. I'm always happy for students to get involved. Like they can run their own campaigns. I mean, I don't have to say that that they can do it. They can do it without my permission. But throughout the year we've got things going on. So usually the welfare officer will run a mental health campaign, and I will always speak to as many societies as I can to try and get them involved and see if they want to, what they kind of want to bring to it, and also like sexual health campaigns or drug campaigns. But if students come to me and want to run a campaign and want my support, then I'm always happy to give them that support as well in any way that I can.
What time should people kind of come and see you? When are your office hours? Are you available at all times?
They can contact me, email, Twitter. They can pop into the office, or just whenever they see me, really. Unless I'm like in the middle of a meeting, then I can always try and spare a few minutes to talk to a student.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Back to the news now. The University World Rankings were released earlier this week, and there were some surprises in store for Leeds.
Emily filed this report.
It's been announced this week that the University of Leeds has suffered a severe drop in the University World Rankings table. The information released by the Times Higher Education magazine has announced that the university has dropped 9 places, falling from 133rd to 142nd. This has seen that the university's reputation as one of the leading UK higher education institutes suffer a bit of a beating, and has raised concern amongst lecturers, parents and students. We've been speaking to many of the Leeds University students to get their opinion on the matter. Experts have warned that the standing of British universities has suffered as a result of fierce competition from other nations, particularly in the Far East. Phil Beattie, the Times Higher Education magazine editor, has said that UK universities could see a collapse in their global position within a generation. We asked the students of Leeds University what they feel is the main contributor to the reason that we have seen a decline in our ranking.
Possibly the increase in the student fees. They might have something to do with it, obviously, because less people are applying now and stuff, and there was a big debate around that, and maybe people were focusing too much on the fees and less on the education itself.
Maybe it's just a subjective idea of the students that the education might be falling, but I don't know really. Maybe the crisis, lots of things there.
You can put it down to students. I don't think you can really put it down to teachers. I mean, the teachers have been the same over the last few years. Students maybe not working as hard. People come here just to kind of, have a chilled ride, just get a degree because they know they can, just by working like as less as possible and possibly coming out of a degree. I don't know, it could be a few things.
That Leeds University isn't the only UK university to have seen a decline in the rankings. Other research-intensive universities, such as Sheffield, has fallen 9 places to 110th. Also, Bristol have fallen 8 places to 74th. It appears that many Scottish universities have also suffered, with the University of Glasgow falling 36 places and the University of Aberdeen falling 25. They're now joint 176th. It appears many students are worried that the decrease in the rankings could affect their standard of education at Leeds University.
Well, to be honest, I'm a little bit worried because obviously I came here as a fresher knowing that Leeds is one of the top universities, and now that it's gone down a bit, I am a little bit worried.
However, despite this, a spokesperson for Leeds University has said that he's dismissing the rankings. To summarise, despite the university suffering a decrease in the rankings, the university as a whole remains fairly optimistic and says that the university will still provide a very high quality education. However, some students still have fears for the university as a whole.
Yorkshire is the biggest county in the UK, but unlike others, it has never held its own county-wide beauty pageant.
Thanks to the efforts of the team at the F1 Modelling Agency and the dedication of a select group of young women, the area will this year be hosting its very own Miss Yorkshire 2012.
The event isn't just any beauty pageant though, as Andy reports.
A quiet office block in the centre of Dewsbury, not the likeliest place to host your average beauty pageant boot camp. But in every way, this beauty pageant is far from average. Starting with 1,000 young girls from across Yorkshire, there's now just 50 left competing for the Miss Yorkshire 2012 crown. The process goes far beyond the competition though, aiming to benefit the lives of the girls involved by boosting their confidence and helping them make the first step in the modelling industry.
It's exciting because I've never done anything like it before.
I'm really scared.
Between now and the end of the month, organisers are running various training classes, including choreography tuition and performance anxiety help. Today's session is all about the catwalk. Catherine Carswell is Head of Communications for Miss Yorkshire. She's also in charge of catwalk coaching.
There's a lot of insecurities for girls in general of a certain age group, and even for women it takes a long time for them to really develop a sense of identity, who they are and their place, so to speak. So the competition is really important for a lot of them. This particular session is all about their catwalk. So starting from the very beginning, learning about posture, how to hold themselves, what kind of things to concentrate on, and making their way down the catwalk, building on what they already know and just getting better at it.
Get your shoulders back to go down. We can start bringing it down a bit to a kind of more natural look. But it's going to be hard to take it up step by step. It's easier to knock something down than it is to get it up. So just go for it and make sure those knees...
Miss Yorkshire isn't just a beauty pageant. It supports and builds confidence in the lives of the women involved, and also supports many charities, including Click Sargent.
Click Sargent is actually a charity that deals with children and young people that have got cancer. I mean, you'll be shocked. I was a bit naive initially. I thought cancer was only to do with adults and stuff like that until I walked into Wetherspoon in Leeds, Lois Bar, number 1 bar, and then obviously met one of the fundraisers there. And then to my shock, I realized that, oh, okay, children too get cancer. So then it became something that touched my heart, and I decided to follow suit with that.
Miss Yorkshire works hard to defeat the stereotypes of beauty pageants, helping the girls to develop their CVs, portfolios and more.
I've researched other beauty pageants across board in Yorkshire and the country as a whole, and then what I've realized is, like this year's bootcamp, we focus more on self-development to the extent that we've brought in a lot of activities to do with personal statement and self-promotion kind of workshop, saying, oh, I intend to produce the best out of these girls so that they're well prepared for the final show, so that the people will see the fundamental difference between how you can use a beauty pageant to balance it in a relation that doesn't become the stereotype.
The final event will be held this month in Leeds in the O2 Academy. It aims to celebrate talent, beauty, confidence and especially diversity in Yorkshire. The final prize, a £1,500 modelling contract with the F1 Modelling Agency. The impact, though, will span much further. We will, of course, be covering the Miss Yorkshire final event at the end of this month in the O2 Academy.
And now for the weather. Ellie has the details.
Good afternoon and welcome to a very cloudy Wednesday afternoon. Today's highest temperatures are going to be about 12 degrees, however tomorrow it will be getting colder and it also gets small outbursts of rain. It's going to go down to 11 degrees, so I do recommend your raincoats and your thermals. Friday, however, it is going to be a little bit more sunny. It's going to go up to 12 degrees again, so let's hope for when you all go out to Fruity, although it'll be cold, the sun still be shining. Let's hope the sun sticks until the weekend. Thank you very much. I'm Ellie Bryant, reporting for The Essential.
That's just about it for now.
If you've got a story tip for us, drop us an email. It's news@lstv.co.uk. And remember, if it's going on or around your union, it's essential.